welcome to a new episode of Cloud Native Chronicles, live from KubeCon 2026 in Amsterdam. I am here with Frank Denneman.
How are you?
First timer at KubeCon?
First timer, yeah.
What's your experience, like first time KubeCon?
Different audience, interesting audience, but different.
How is it different?
Well, the interesting thing is a lot of people actually know about VMware and they have a different time, like why is it Broadcom? Well, you have to explain that. But then you get these questions like, I know you're about virtualization, about VMware and about virtual machines. So what has that anything to do with Kubernetes? Then I have to basically explain like, if you run Kubernetes on bare metal, you're basically assigning a full box, a full piece of hardware kit, especially with AI and the GPUs, to a single worker node. Is that something that you like? And how do you do resource management? And you see them think like, oh yeah, you basically touch a touchy subject, right?
Yeah, and that's a really cool topic because we had So first of all, what's your role within Broadcom?
Oh, sorry, yeah.
No worries.
So no, I'm a distinguished engineer within the AI team. So I help shape the AI strategy for the VCF division. I do cross-team functionality asks. So basically we have different platform teams and I guide them from the AI perspective. Like how does AI workload use your element of the platform and how can you improve and what can we deliver and develop.
So that's kind of like a great context to start with because your focus is on AI within Broadcom. You're here at KubeCon.
Yes.
So the topic that you just mentioned is, Broadcom has a large focus on resource management.
Yes.
And the biggest misconception we hear all the time is, we're doing bare metal Kubernetes, and at Broadcom you guys have like a layer in the middle, like a hypervisor.
Yeah.
So let's debunk everything.
Yeah.
So, why do you think bare metal Kubernetes does not exist?
We have 15 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Are they use cases for bare metal, Kate? For sure. But the reality is most of the environments don't need to have a full box or they have security or isolation requirements. And that's where you have your virtualization element to it, right? You have your virtual machine isolating a part of the host, meaning you can right size to a particular workload or to a bunch of workloads. And then because you have the isolation aspect of a virtual machine, it's much safer experience, especially now with agents. Like if your agent breaks out of your deployment, your container or your pod, your Kubernetes worker node is breached, meaning your cluster is breached. If you do this on bare metal, on the very expensive hardware, you're going to have a bad problem. At least you're not going to enjoy your weekend, that's for sure, right? So with with virtualization, we can give you the same experience, but in an isolated and a secure manner. And because we have pass-through, you can do the same thing with bare metal, or you can use vGPU technology or whatever you want, right? So it's a different approach.
Looking at the different flavors of Kubernetes, if you will, like bare metal would imply that you would run a Kubernetes orchestrated directly like on metal.
Yeah.
But like in every situation...
Is it on metal?
Well, there's always an OS on top of
exactly.
that, right? And that's kind of the misconception I was talking about.
Yes.
Like, there's always an OS that you need to deploy, including drivers, including translation of like PCI IDs or stuff like that. Yeah. And then on top of that, you have an orchestration layer that orchestrates the containers.
Yes.
So like, there's no such thing as bare metal Kubernetes.
No, it isn't. And the thing is, especially when you talk about the guest OS and the driver and all the functionality in there, right? Because the container is nothing more than a process. It still has a shared kernel experience. What we see with a lot of data scientists is they're saying, we're looking at a particular stack, and sometimes for a particular use case, we need to have a different stack. So you have to certify in a way for your organization that this works. How do you do this with bare metal in a repetitive way? It's very difficult. If you do this with virtualization, you always have the same baseline. Yeah, you can expose certain functionality like a GPU in the most bare essential way, but the reality is with a virtualization environment, you will have this structure that is always the same, which is far more easier to certify, which is far more easily to get consistent performance out of it. And I think that's key.
So another misconception is, you guys as Broadcom are here at KubeCon.
Yes.
Obviously, it's the biggest open source and cloud native conference in the world. We heard it this morning during the keynote. There's 15,000 people here. It's literally the biggest KubeCon.
Yeah.
You guys being here means something to open source and cloud native.
Yeah.
We talked about the aspect of Kubernetes inside VCF.
Yeah.
What about the open source?
So we're one of the largest contributors to the open source world anyways, right? And on top of that, if you look at our Kubernetes solution, VKS, we were the first solution that aligns with the AI conformance program from CNCF. So we have covered all the musts, we covered the majority of the shoulds defined in that list. And one of the key elements, for example, is the DRA driver, the dynamic resource allocation driver, which you can use inside the VKS worker node to expose the resources to the container in a far more elegant way with the traditional way. In a traditional way, you basically say, I want to have a GPU, you say, how many? 1, 2, whatever, right? Now with DRA, we can say, tell me what you actually want, what you really, really want, to quote the Spice Girls. Yeah. You can say, I want to have 2 GPUs, H100s, topology aware, and means I want to have them directly connected to each other. We will offer that from the virtual machine, from the hypervisor all the way up to the virtual machine, so the virtual machine can give you that, right? And we can do this on a repetitive basis, on a very structural basis. We decided, when we saw the AI conformance program, we wanted to basically align with that as fast as possible. So we did that, and we are constantly improving that as well.
And like when it comes to the consumption interface and the way you would deploy this, you guys support that both from a like CLI perspective, like declarative, like you would in a vanilla Kubernetes way as well. Yeah. But also like for the traditional VI admin who has been working with the CLI, like with the UI, you basically have the same approach, right?
Yes, we have 2 approaches. We have from the administrator up, meaning that the administrator can do and deploy things that they are used to do with their own control planes and their own UIs. But we can also do the reverse. We can also have a person who is very familiar with in the Kubernetes world with the normal CLI. They can actually interact with the platform as well. They can actually deploy through a CLI a virtual machine and the rest, and a Kubernetes environment, whatever they want, in their language that they're used to work with. And I think that's a very strong proposition.
So if one of the viewers or listeners, would like to start with VKS or with private AI services,
yeah,
like what should they do?
They should call you guys.
Okay, let's do that.
They should talk to their partner, or basically go and look at our website. We have reference architectures that they can follow. Talking to a partner is always a good thing, right? Because it's not a difficult thing. There are some things that typically interact with your current existing environment that you need to be aware of. And I think having a guided conversation with a partner that's knowledgeable about the VCF platform and the actual use cases that you as a customer are running is a very strong beginning.
Awesome. Well, if you have any questions about what VMware is doing, Broadcom is doing nowadays with VCF, with VKS, with a private AI services stack on top of that, what you could do is go to itq.eu/AI. You can find more information about that stack and how we can help you with that. Frank, thanks so much for being a guest in the Cloud Native Chronicles.
Always an honor.
Hope you enjoyed your first KubeCon.
I will.
Awesome. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.